One of the things that we as people of color get really, really, really tired of and frustrated with, and mostly this will happen at work, but it does happen in public too, is that people will constantly test some sort of made up or fake authority against us, or they'll test their power against us. So they'll put us in situations, and in these situations it gives a feeling of being disrespected. So for example, like with the police, sometimes I've witnessed with people of color is that police will use their authority to pull you over, and as a person of color you're thinking, why am I getting pulled over? And you can't think of a reason. Then when you hear their reason, it's like, well, you're saying to yourself, that doesn't occur to me. So it's like this authority is getting tested against yours, and it feels like disrespecting you, and you don't like it. Or they'll ask you questions. Instead of just pulling you over, whatever the reason is, you didn't turn your signal on. They start testing the authority with you and start asking questions such as, where are you coming from? Where are you going? What town do you live in? These kind of questions. Sometimes it gets even more extreme, where they'll ask you to get out of your car. If you're with someone, they'll take you back to your car, ask you questions, and then they'll go back and ask whoever you're riding with the same questions, see if they match. And I just don't understand, what is these questions? You pulled me over for a turn signal. You pulled me over for speeding. But now we're going to this extent. It's like they're testing the power, their power against yours. Now we get into a problem with the police because some people of color will get so irritated that they'll bring up their own power and they'll refuse to answer the questions. They won't cooperate. They'll start yelling, whatever it is. So I mean, that's not good either. But in the workplace though, this happens too. In the workplace, people will, or anywhere in public, they'll see you as a person of color, and in their mind, I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know if they're thinking that you're weak. I don't know if I'm just not sure what the mind says, what the thought process, but they test you. They will test you, and you're being tested. They'll test, your knowledge of your position. They'll test how you got the position. If you're making a certain income, sometimes they'll test that. Somehow they'll find out about the income you make, and then they'll test that, and you'll have to justify that somehow. It's a constant testing. If you speak up in a group, they'll doubt you first, and then they'll test your information. It's just a constant testing of authority, or whatever you want to call it. And it's frustrating, it's annoying. But my point is, what I'm making is that it's a superficial test though. It's a superficial test, it's not even real. And what I find is when somebody tests you in a certain authority, if you have the energy and the capacity to do this, you can deny that test. You can deny them that, because they come to you with this superficial idea of themselves, of this power that they have that they don't have. The only way they have the power is if you give it to them. The only way they have the power is if you let them have the power. So when they come to you with this power and you just refuse, with the exception of the police, it's a whole different game. But if you refuse the authority face to face, it dies right there. That authority just dies off right there. They can't justify it. They can't explain it. It wasn't real. They're hoping and making an assumption that you're gonna give in to the authority that they present to you. But once you make a stand to it, once you question their authority, or you question why they're questioning you in this way, or whatever the situation is, or why you question my position, why you questioning my income, whatever it is, they're not able to usually to explain it. That authority just disappears quickly. It just disappears because it's not a real authority. But it's still annoying that you even have to go to that level. That's all I got on that.